How are you, Donna?
How are you?
We're going to talk about how much is too much to share on social media. Where do you draw the line as a person and as a parent? Where do you draw the line? What do you think is
I do.
acceptable to post and not to post? And then yeah, and then, if you're following somebody and their page is private, do you take their stuff and take a snapshot of it and then share it for the world to see, even though they made their particular stuff private, you were
Yeah.
privy to that information? Do you share that? That is, a lot of stuff and to talk about. So when over the last week, well, I've always wanted to do this topic. I've always wanted to do this topic, and Donna knows that. And then the last week, I've noticed there were some things that came out. For example, I'm just going to flat out say it. The Beckham family is in a family feud type of a thing. And you have their son who put it out there for the world to see, and you have mom and dad who've kind of kept it quiet, like, not airing their dirty laundry out. It's like, did he do right by doing that? Or did he do wrong? Mom and dad aren't responding. So it's one of those things where, do you air your dirty laundry out for the world to see? So that's kind of where we're going to be. That's kind of what we're going to be talking about today.
You know what? I'll share my journey, my social media journey. Not everybody's isn't the same, but I'll put it down, like 30 seconds. When Facebook first came out, I was one of those, we all jumped on the bandwagon, all my friends, but we all used it for like communication purposes. I have relatives that live in England. We didn't have where you would talk on your iPhone, stuff like that. So that's how we shared pictures and the whole nine yards. And that's how we, kept in touch. So I used it for everything. We used it for the women's club that I was a part of. We used it for the schools. And then it slowly trickled into using it for work when I owned my store.
Right.
So I used that for my business, Facebook and Instagram. And that's how I started. That's how I started up Instagram. And that's how I started using those two platforms. I never stopped my kids. My younger one doesn't post anything anyway. And my older one, I just said, use your own discretion. And he always has, because he
Yep,
knows his
exactly.
profession and he knows what he does. Right now at 23 years old, he posts a lot of like anime or baseball and football.
Yeah, he does because I follow him, so I know what he posts. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much where it stands. One time he did post something that I didn't like. He was a freshman in college and I just literally had to tell him and he took it down immediately.
Yep. No,
And
exactly.
he doesn't really hide anything from me. So, it's no big deal. But have I put them out there? Sure. I mean, all the time. I don't care. Like, not that I don't care, but I'm not showing anything wrong. Like, there's nothing. It's just
Right.
me and my family. Here we are. And it's usually just because now it's for the sheer fact that I have so many customers that I don't see anymore and they all want to know
Yeah.
like how we're doing. Everybody
Right.
always comments and it's nice to hear from them. So
I think
that's my
I think what you're posting I think is fine. I've seen people that have gone and posted things where they're complaining about their child. Like, why would you put that out there? Why would you put out there, like, oh my gosh, this person did this, said child did this. I'm so I get your venting, but you are talking about your child. And even though, for example, you might have your social media page private, but who's to say that one of your family members or friends is following you, doesn't take a snapshot of it, and then they have it, and then they can drop it whenever they want to, or maybe you put a little embarrassing picture when your child is little, an embarrassing picture or something, and then they hold on to that, and then your child gets mad as they get older because I use it against them. I was always careful when my kids were really, really little, I did post them, but then I stopped that. I just was like, no, I don't want to do that, just because I had posted something one time and it was a private page, and somebody that I knew and I thought I trusted took that information and told somebody else. And they were like, oh, yeah, you can't do this now because of this. And it was because it was during COVID time and one of my kids had gotten a close contact. So because they were a close contact, therefore is like, oh no, you can't come to this event now.
Mhm.
I'm like, what does it have to do with me? And then I'm like, well, and I was very confused. I'm like, how did you know I was a close contact? Because I don't follow you and you don't follow me. So I'm very confused. And then they're like, oh yeah, so and so told me. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? So
Yeah.
then that said person called me and she's like, oh yeah, did so and so get a hold of you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm very confused on why you told them. She's like, well, you put it out there. And I'm like, yeah, my page is private for a reason. And they're like, no, when you put it out there, that means everybody has the right to share that. And I'm like, no, no, you don't. You don't. My page is private for a reason. If I wanted the world to know, I would have made my page public for the whole world to see. And this person just didn't get it. They didn't get it. And after that, I was like, nope. And
Right.
she just was like, oh, I'm like, I'm sorry. My page was private. And the person that you told, I don't really care for. And I did not appreciate that. They still didn't care. They're like, oh, but I had that right. I'm like, no, you didn't have that right. You
You're
didn't.
not listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's all about, what do you share? So I've always told my kids, this is what I tell my kids because my kids want it, like your son, they want to get into profession that whatever's out there. I always tell them that whatever is out there is for the world to see. Always. Like the internet does not forget. And I always say this to kids. The internet does not forget. So even though you might think you've deleted it, somebody has a copy of it somewhere. They don't forget. So I always tell my kids, I'm like, even if your page is private, don't post it because it can come back to bite you in the butt and it could potentially ruin your future career in what you want to be. It could, it's just like even with, I'm just going to say it, politicians are like, oh, yeah, well, so and so did this way back when, and here's the picture. Okay, so what 18-year-old college person does not have a drink of alcohol? Okay, that's okay. That's the least of my concerns if this person is running for office and whatever they're whatever.
Yeah.
But still, it's affecting them. And now they have to come out and say, oh my gosh, whatever. So it's all about, how much is too much to post it and protecting your kids, like when they get older. It's like, be careful. I always say, protect, be careful what you post of your kids when they're little because it could come back to bite them in the butt. And I have a friend that constantly posts. Well, she doesn't anymore because her kids told her no. But when they were little, it was constantly all the time. And I was like, girl, stop it. I didn't tell her that in my brain. I was telling her that. And then her kids got old enough to tell her to stop. Like it was just constant. And it
Yeah.
never was
And
any positive.
honestly, it is just your own preference.
Yeah.
Maybe you're putting it out there for a reason. Maybe number one, it could be a cry for help. Number two, it's just that you want someone to know what's going on. Maybe you don't feel connected to people and this is your way to
Mhm.
connect to people.
But do you think you
Yeah.
should ask your kids though before putting anything out there about them? Or do you think you have the right to post it?
No, I mean, when they get older, totally. But like, if they're younger and you're like, oh my God, he got into the softball, the soccer team.
Right. No,
No,
that's fine. But this person was always complaining about their kids, like when they
yeah.
were little.
Like, why do you want to complain about them?
That's what I'm saying. Like
You
they were
had,
constantly always complaining about their
well,
kids.
then that take that, kind of brings it into everybody. There's a lot of people that complain about their jobs. Like,
Yeah.
why would you go on the internet and complain about your jobs? Do you know how many teachers complain about their jobs? They have like
Mhm.
countdowns and the whole nine yards. And now you're stuck with your kids this summer. It's like, but this is the job you signed up for.
Yeah.
What am I going to be like? Oh, I don't know. I'm an accountant and I have to go
Yeah.
and work on numbers. Can you believe it? Well, yes, because
Yeah.
that's what I signed up.
Yeah. No, I watched was it a TikTok video? I think it was. I don't know. It was on my private account. And it was the cops had shown up to the school and they're like, oh, hey, are you so and so? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, we need to talk to you. And she was new, a young teacher, probably like your son's age, and she had Snapchat and she had made a comment about one of her students and she sent this Snapchat to her boyfriend and I think her roommate and a friend and she said it was just private and whatever she said was I don't know. I think my understanding is she wanted to like smack them or whatever it was
Sure.
basically to place harm upon the child. And she ended up getting arrested for it. She's like, but that was private. Well, obviously somebody that she sent it to didn't think it was so private and it got reported.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, she's ruined her career because something like that, you can't ever work with kids again.
No,
Not when you
no,
do that.
you have to
Absolutely
sign
not.
you have to sign your certificate over.
Yeah, it's sad.
I did probably 6, 7 years ago. The seniors do like a work study program that lasts like
Mhm.
6 weeks of school just to like see like maybe what profession they want to be in or whatever. And someone wanted to do like business management and they came in and worked for me and worked with me. kind of taught
Yeah.
them what I could teach them. And then over the summer, she's like, "Do you think I can stay and work?" So I was like, "Okay." I felt bad. She wanted to make money for college. So I let her work, and she complained every single day on Snapchat. And it got back to me. I never hired her again. And she kept saying, like, "Can I come back during break? Can I come?" I'm like, "Nope."
Did you tell her that you saw it?
I couldn't because of the person that told me, asked me not to.
I mean,
So
I get it, but I think at the same time, it probably would have been a wake up call for her to know. So that could have taught her a lesson that, hey, it got back to me. Um, because of this. It did get back to me and this can affect your career. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I just, I was friends with the mom, and I just felt uncomfortable saying anything.
Yeah.
Maybe looking back on it, maybe I should have.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, "Can I come and work during break?" I'm like, "Nope."
Yeah. Nope. Nope. I mean, yeah. That's, why we have, with like my kids, only my girls currently have phones and they're the only ones that have social media. But I do follow them. They wanted me, they asked me to. I didn't ask to. They said, "Mom, can you follow me?" I'm like, sure, I don't mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So I
when it
mean,
comes,
I mean, yeah, and this goes back to if you think about celebrities, right? Do you see them airing out their dirty laundry? Not the majority of the time, not the normal ones, because they know that whatever they put out there could potentially affect their next job, and they're very cautious, and they also know that it's out there for the rest of their lives. And I sometimes think that we should take note of that. I'm very cautious of what I put out there. I'm very, very, I mean, you know me. I'm extremely cautious what I put out there. I don't like putting my kids out there. I mean, you've obviously met the child that's running around here now because she's old enough and she can do what, I let her do it. But for the most part, she'd rather just not be on. She's like, "Nope, I'm good, thanks." And now she's left and went upstairs.
you sit when you talk about celebrities and like we should take like a page out of their book.
Yeah.
Most celebrities just use it to promote like whatever they're doing, like
Yep.
movie.
They promote their shows or music, their
Yeah.
books,
Once in a
whatever.
while, I
Yeah.
think you'll get like a something, who had
Yeah,
just
like a little vacation or something like that, or they got a new
yeah,
dog or a
yeah,
cat, or, or some of them will announce that they had a baby, but they're only showing the hand or the foot, or maybe
right.
they're showing the baby bump. They're like, "Oh, look," or maybe they got engaged and they're showing the ring. They're letting you into just a small part of their personal
Mhm.
life, which, we should be absolutely grateful for.
Yes. Yeah, does anybody have any questions? Heather says here she was oversharing about her
Mhm.
family on her lives. But she said, "I'm okay with it." So she's okay with sharing.
Yes.
It's fine.
As long as they're okay with you sharing, I mean, it's not gonna come back to bite you in the butt. I mean, go for it, right? No, honestly, I think it's a good topic, just about I think it's more of just really raising the kids and the grandkids of, what to share and how to be cautious. And that's what I'm doing with my kids. Like my boys are 13 and 15 and they don't have social media. I mean, they have Snapchat, but it's on my iPad. So guess who has access to that? I do. Not
Mhm.
that I look at it, but if they ever gave me reason to, I 100% would. My kids have never given me a reason to ever have to search for anything on theirs because they know how we roll. They know. So I think it's just all about raising your children to be like saying, it's okay. You can make mistakes. It's okay to do this and this and this, but you need to think about the consequences that could come if you were to do something, if you were to post it out there for the world to see. But no, I mean, yeah, I just always wanted just to talk about this subject, just my thoughts on it of just, obviously you can do what you want. It's your life, your choice. If you want to share, if you don't
Mhm.
want to share, if you're going to share about your kids, share about your kids, and that's fantastic. But all I would say is this: ask your kids if they're okay with you posting it. And if they're not, then don't. And then, if you're going to go to somebody else's private page and take a snapshot of it and share it for the world, think about it this way: would you want somebody to take something that you put on your private page and share it to the world? And if the answer is no, then don't do it to somebody else's. That's all I'm going to say
Mhm.
about that. It's just don't, yeah, I always say think twice before posting. That's why they have a thing called a draft. So you can put it in the draft and you can sit on it and you can think. And a lot of times, I think a lot of people post in heat of the moment. This is my favorite. This
Okay.
beer.
Raw organic strawberry lemonade. Oh, nice.
Mhm.
That sounds good.
Yeah, they have a watermelon one, and then they have another flavor, but I can't remember what it is.
I've never heard of that brand before.
You want to take a snapshot of it?
Yeah, I will actually.
There you go. Find it in the water section because it is water. What I think this was a good topic. I've always wanted to do this one. I'm glad we got to do this.